Hey guys, happy Friday. It's December 5th. And this is our Friday Night Live. I'm glad to see a bunch of you already in the comments. Hey George, what's the good news today? The good news is it's Friday. That's the good news. Okay, so I am going to start with announcing that we are looking to do a few videos with all of you. If you're having a struggle or a financial hardship or something affecting you since these new copays were imposed in January, we don't have any updates on our court cases yet, just so you know. And there is no update either on the current case against the city over the NYC EPPO plan. So right now, everything is just kind of the same. We do expect that the judge is going to give a decision quite soon. I'm actually shocked that it hasn't come in yet because he's usually a pretty prompt judge, but he's not. And I literally checked the docket before I came on. So I want to know if any of you are having some struggle with these new copays. And just before I came on, I was doing a little survey for you. Let me see if I could quickly take a copy, paste it. And I just really know if you're having a hardship with the copays that were imposed on senior care, and would you be willing to do a video with me? Because I want to start doing short little videos to highlight you guys about what the struggle is that you're having because of this. That hopefully maybe will get people to pay a little bit more attention. That video with Margaret got about 3,000 hits on it. And from just before Thanksgiving until now. So in what, like 2 weeks. So I want to see if maybe you guys would sign up on that, just to do a short video, less than 5 minutes, preferably about 2 or 3, and talk a little bit about the struggle that you're having. So for like a Margaret, it's kind of apparent, right? She's worked for the city for 40 years. She was promised that she wouldn't have costs on her health care. She was promised that she'd have Medicare. In 60 years, there were no copays on Medicare ever, except these decisions were made for us at a time when we didn't have a seat at the table. We weren't in the room to advise them who we were, what we look like. They didn't even recognize that people like Margaret make a $26,000 pension. And they think that just charging them $15 a visit was fine. But that $15 a visit very quickly goes to $60 a visit, and sometimes multiple times a week if you're having PT, OT, cardiac rehab, chemotherapy. And they knew this because when they negotiated the NYC EPPO plan for patients that are on dialysis, they capped the copays to like $200. That means they know. So they're going to have to go in and fix this. So this is why we know that we're going to, we're going to have to do something. They're going to have to do something about this, like pass our legislation. Hey, Laura, good to see you. Does Margaret have a GoFundMe so some of us can provide some help? Ellen, there is not one yet started. If you do want to start one, I'd be glad to put you in touch with her. But I've not started that. If you want to do that, go right ahead. I can help guide you when making those connections, or if someone wants to do that, let me know. But she could surely use that help because I think her costs now are over $4,500. Can't live $21,700 a year and pay copays when you're in your mid-80s. So Charlie's aunt, I just dropped, and I'll drop it again, the link in the chat, and would love to have you do a video with me if you would. Short, sweet. I think we did a video once before. Please sign up because I want to get as many of you on there so that your voices are heard other than just mine. Because I can complain as much as I am and they're not paying attention to me, but maybe they'll listen to you. I would, but I had a semiglossectomy and I can't speak too well. Okay, George. Um, Maybe we could try that anyway. That might be powerful. I don't know. Let's see. On January 2026, my union elected to go to Aetna Silver Script. So, Sandra, many unions, including like DC 37, did, and I don't know which union you are in, but I will tell you that due to the advocacy of this organization, due to retirees complaining that like Local 237, Greg Floyd, Local 1180, CWA, Gloria Middleton, were providing a drug plan for you guys that were Medicare eligible and telling you that it was a creditable Part D plan. We exposed, thanks to you, that their plans were not creditable Part D plans. And this year, guess what? Both CWA, Local 1180, and Local 237 introduced drug plans that were true Medicare D drug plans, from what I understand. Now, we've had retirees like Harry and William review the 237 plan. No one has come to me to review the CWA plan. So I'm taking it on its face that they did convert it, because it looks like they converted to something similar to what 237 did. But it is because all of you spoke out about you going to the drugstore, going to get a shingles shot. They tried to charge you $250 when Medicare Part D covers shingles shots. So this should not be a problem for all of you, hopefully going forward. If you're finding that your drug plan that your union offers doesn't cover what Medicare does, then guess what? It's not a creditable Part D drug plan. This is why we fight, because you're being lied to, you're being harmed, and because most people don't understand insurance, don't know. But because you guys complained about it, and we kept telling you, you're entitled to this benefit. And what the benefit is supposed to cover, your former union could no longer screw you because we've made it a public issue. OLR literally stopped talking to us about it. And they were like, we don't hear you. We're not listening. But sure enough, what did they do? They obviously pressured both of those unions we went after to do the right thing, because that could have permanently harmed their retirees. So I have to give you guys kudos on that. Why does it make sense that a new prescription plan pays for erectile dysfunction, but not my asthma inhaler? Well, I guess if you're a guy with an erectile dysfunction, having elevation might be more important than an asthma inhaler. I have absolutely no idea. But I will tell you, Ellen, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to make sure that the self-funding issue for the city of New York doesn't become an issue, is because if you looked, Senator Gustavo Rivera passed a law that covers inhalers. So it must be covered. If it's not covered, I need to know going into 26, because then I guess we're going to have to go to Emblem and say, or Prime, and Emblem, Prime, whatever, United, and tell them, you need to fix this. And if Emblem is listening, make sure you get back to me that you're covering asthma inhalers. So yeah, I'll get back to you on that one, Ellen. I can't really answer the question. Let's see. I can't help start a GoFundMe, no skills or time. Well, if there's someone on here that would like to start a GoFundMe, let me know if you know how to do it. I don't know how to start a GoFundMe, but if someone does, there you go. I'm sure Margaret would be very appreciative. Spoke to a tier 1 retired teacher who apparently is on the ball. However, he was not aware his Part D was going $150 going to $180. Heard this runs rampant, that UFT retirees are not given information from their retirement group. We should do better. He did know about the $15 copays. So, Marie, that is a major issue, because you're talking $180 a month for a drug plan. And unless you're taking some of those drugs, It doesn't pay for you to stay in the city plan. It pays for you to purchase a plan on the marketplace, because those plans, as we've determined, are either like $35 or $40 a month. I showed you the other day a couple of the ones that we did that came up when we did that sample was like $35 or $45, $47. They were pretty inexpensive. And as long as it covers your medications, what's the point to stay on a plan that's charging you $180? And then, mind you, you could only purchase a Medicare Part D drug plan on the Medicare.gov website until Sunday. Sunday's the deadline. It's the last day. After that, you're stuck in whatever plan you got, right? So the city plan, if you have a dependent, if you have any dependents and you choose to come off the city plan, that means everyone has to come off the city plan. And at that point, it might not be financially worthwhile to you. We asked, again, I'll give you an update. I asked again, Beth Norton from the United Federation of Teachers, General Counsel, and Michael Mulgrew, the president of the United Federation of Teachers, to work on this issue with me, with this decoupling issue and not getting the information, the price, the costing of the medications. And for whatever reason, they don't think it's important enough to get on board and fight this with us. So I'm announcing today, Friday, and I will check one last time before I make any definitive response to that. I have absolutely no email in my mailbox from Beth Norton or Michael Mulgrew saying that they will help us with that issue. We brought to them their attention that the Medicare drug plan for senior care, that the formulary for 2026 was not on the website. We told them the pricing in violation of state law is not on the website. And we told them this decoupling issue causes a financial crisis, that you should be able to opt out of the drug plan for you or for your dependents. You should not all have to be on the same plan. It is an optional rider. Optional means it's an option. And it doesn't mean that if you have family on the drug rider, if you have family on the health plan, that they all have to be on the drug rider. We asked OLR's attorney, do you have this rule in writing? They said no. Well, then where is it? They said they didn't know. It's just they've been doing this forever. And that was the same repetition we got out of Beth Norton. And I'm like, just because you've been doing something doesn't mean it's right and doesn't mean it makes sense. That means you don't know the answer and you're not willing to change it or fess up that you don't know why the hell you're forcing people into doing this. So we called Emblem, and Emblem said, that's not our rule. That's the city's rule. Okay. So then why don't you change the flocking rule? It doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense. So let's see, on Instagram, BGC Glaze says, but they all show a large deductible. Not sure what that means. Do you pay that before you get your prescriptions? So no. So BGC Glaze, what that means, and let me see if I could type that in here because you're on a separate screen from me. So in the drug plans, and most plans do have a deductible, you pay the deductible first. So you pay it's a $615 deductible, which is pretty cheap. So you pay the $1,600 deductible first, and then they pick up the cost less the copay, whatever that is. And by looking at that on the Medicare.gov website, you not only saw what the deductible was, $615, you also know that Medicare has a maximum out-of-pocket of $2,100. And the plan will also tell you when you look it up on the Medicare.gov website and go to our website, because we go to our YouTube channel, because we did a video on this the other day on how to look up a Medicare Part D drug plan. It'll tell you what your premiums are. It'll tell you what your cost is and what your annual cost for the year with those copays and the premiums. Now, if I'm telling you right now that the drug premium from the city is $180 a month, this is how you can figure this out. Look at what your costs were for 2025 for your drugs. Premium, was $150 a month times 12. And then what you should look up is what you paid in copays last year. Now, if your health hasn't changed and you're on the same drugs you think for 26, you have an idea of what your drug cost would be on the city plan for 26 versus what it would be on the Medicare.gov plan. And you have until Sunday to make that change. Anyone who is on a Medicare Advantage plan or an HMO, if you want to change your plan, you are also, the city is allowing you to till December 15th to make that change. But if you are on an HMO or a Medicare Advantage, you have to complete the disenrollment form from that plan first, and then send in the change form to OLR that you want to come back to traditional Medicare and senior care. Okay. So that's the questions for that. Instagram, BGC Glaze. Hopefully that answered your question there. If not, pop it back up. I'm going to the other side. I wish they would merge all of these chats, but they don't. So I've got to keep flipping between my screens. Let's see. Except CWA will not send me any information, and I should call after January 1. So Marie, can you tell me what plan CWA 1180 went to and what you received from them so far? If anyone can send me the full scan of the documents of which they sent, we'll do a review of it, and we'll let you know what that plan, if that plan does look like it's a creditable Part D drug plan. Tell me what they're not answering. Are they not giving you drug pricing? What are they not giving you? And who's the vendor? Because I don't remember that either. OLR refused to do anything when we told them CWA's plans was not credible. Yeah, they didn't even want to know about it. And then Gloria Middleton's team immediately shut down. So Mamdani promised no copays for actives. What will he do if the actives pre-Medicare retirees contract is signed? I have no idea. He's still not talking to us. Okay, Janet, I just informed a teacher what was going on with the prescription. She had no idea. Her answer was, it doesn't matter if the prescription plan changes because all I get is eye drops. I said, so do you realize you're going to be paying $180 a month for your eye drops? Well, that's $180 a month premium plus whatever she pays in copays for her eye drops. That is ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. John Manning, just like credit card fees and the crazy $2.3 billion in investment fees the 5 city pensions are paying, these medical copays really do add up. Unless you're young, what's going on are pay cuts. Yeah. Well, and that's what it is. It's literally cutting your pension. So they have to look at it that way. She didn't even know what the rider was, and it was being taken out of her paycheck. Oh my God. See, and this is what kills me, is people don't know what they're paying because they never look at their paycheck or their pay stub, their pension stub. So they have no idea what deductions that they're paying. This is crazy. Matthew Weber, folks, if OLR requests that you send specific drug information to them via email, before doing so, ask how they are safeguarding your protected health information. Email is not secure. OLR should not be asking people to send sensitive information to them through non-secure email. And to another point to that, Matthew, if you are writing to OLR and someone is responding to you based on your email, but they're responding to you that from an email that does not end in olr.nyc.gov, G-O-V, don't answer it. Tell them to respond back to you from their official governmental email. Otherwise, there's no way to track what they're saying to you, and it creates a whole bunch of other issues. You want to make sure that they're answering you back from a gov email, not a personal email, okay? If it's someone from the health plan answering you back, we need to confirm that it's actually the health plan. Before you give any sensitive information over email, make sure you know who you're talking to, okay? Thanks for that tip, Matthew. And thank you for Ellen, too, because she's the one that asked me to post that additional information on my post this morning. The $180 covers your meds, real and imagined. Also, my one prescription cost me $50 for 30 days. It's not cheap. So, Claudia, the $150 is only $180 is only the premium. It doesn't cover your meds. Yeah, $50 for 30 days. So it covers you, it buys you into a plan to get your drugs for $50 for 30 days. From what I heard, Local 237 is not allowing us to take another plan. We need to take their Part D plan. Is this not true? Okay, so if you have a union drug plan, you must be on the union drug plan. Why do we have this conversation? Because there are unions like, shocking, United Federation of Teachers, one of the largest unions in the city, that does not give their retirees a drug plan. So these retirees are forced to purchase a drug plan on the marketplace. So if you absolutely have a union that gives you a drug plan, and if you are on Medicare and that plan is a creditable Part D drug plan, then you cannot purchase a plan on the marketplace. Well, you can. You'd be waiving your city health benefits. And if you do get anything in reimbursement, they're not going to do that. Speaking of which, OSA retirees. I called OSA today and I spoke with David. David was aware and he said that there's like a newsline or some newsline on your website that's like a weekly newsletter for OSA retirees. Now, he said they are very well aware of this issue because many of you have been calling. And I asked him to get back to me because I said, I want to know if these retirees choose to purchase a drug plan on the marketplace, since right now they do not have a drug plan from OSA. OSA requires these people to purchase the drug plan from the city. And the cost is going to $180 a month. For many people, it doesn't make sense to stay on it. So I said, if you come back and tell me that you will no longer reimburse those retirees, the partial reimbursement, which they give, I believe, $50 a month reimbursement towards the premium, then please let me know if you would be considering bringing this up at your next welfare fund meeting to discuss changing the rules of the union. Because if you're giving a $50 rebate to retirees on a $150 premium right now, so that would bring their cost down to $100 a month. If these retirees choose to get a drug plan on the marketplace, let's say for $35, you don't have to give them the $50 because they're not paying $50. So you could give them a lower percentage and it would still save the union money. Or give them the $35 a month. The choice is up to the board, but at least have the conversation. Could you let me know? And he called me back and he'd said, tell your retirees to look at Newsline, that OSA will be taking a look at this at the next board meeting. However, the next board meeting is not scheduled yet. So you will have to keep the pressure on OSA to find out when the Welfare Fund Board is scheduling their next meeting. Now, of course, if you choose, because the savings is that great, to move off of the city drug plan and purchase a plan on the marketplace by Sunday, a drug plan on the marketplace, you will have to recognize that you will potentially lose that reimbursement if the board eventually meets and doesn't agree to give you any reimbursement back. I would believe that you are still saving money by doing so, but that choice is up to you. So make sure that your drugs are covered and make sure that you understand that if OSA does not change their rule, you will no longer be entitled to that reimbursement. Okay. So let's see. Hi, is Prime less than Aetna? I can't tell you that because Prime is not giving drug pricing and neither is OLR. And we've been fighting them on this now for the last month. OLR had until Wednesday to provide us with this cost data. I asked them again this afternoon. You have still not provided us with this information. No answer. So I can't tell you if the copay for Eliquis is cheaper for Prime anywhere else. If you get a public Plan D, can we get a public Medigap? Why would you get a public Medigap? If you do the public Medigap, you lose your Medicare Part B reimbursement. That doesn't make any sense. No, absolutely not. That one has nothing to do with the other. Why would you want to purchase a Medigap on the marketplace? You lose your Medicare B and you lose your dependents. If you choose a health plan on the marketplace all of your dependents leave as well. That doesn't make any sense. Since drugs are so expensive, we are being gouged. I've used GoodRx when the insurance cost was high. Elliot, a lot of people have done that. It's impossible to compare New York City drug pricing to those offered via CMS. New York City OLR must make this information readily available to retirees without having to disclose their set. And I agree with you on that, Matthew, but they're refusing to do it. So the only option we have is potentially file another litigation, which we are looking at. But it's Friday. We will go back and discuss that with the lawyers and the board on Monday, because they should absolutely provide you with that information. We've made that crystal clear. I've even said that to the UFT. I've asked them for their help on this, but they chose not to help you. They chose not to help you. So I don't know what to tell you. Maybe if all of you, that was the other thing. Beth said she's not been hearing, the UFT has heard from no one complaining about drug plan issues. So please do me a favor, reach out to Beth Norton, bnorton@uft.org, and Michael Mulgrew, and let them know all of the issues you're having with your drug plan, with the city drug plan, because they told me that they don't hear anyone complaining about drug plan issues with the city if you're a retiree. So I wash my hands of that at this point. If we're going to fight this, we're fighting on our own. But I'm going to ask you, if you are UFT retiree and you are having trouble getting drug plan information, or if there's another issue, because we did just get you the formulary, and unfortunately it was just this week, like Tuesday. But if it's a drug costing issue, please email Beth Norton and Michael Mulgrew and let them know that you cannot effectively choose to compare a city drug plan with an CMS drug plan, Medicare drug plan, because the city is not providing you with drug costing data. You should know what your drug would cost on the city drug plan, even if it's a window. Why? Because a PBM, which is Prime Therapeutics, is the middleman between you, the client, and the drug manufacturer. They purchase drugs. They make a deal with retail outlets and mail order, like they did with Amazon and Express Scripts. And they'll know what the drug cost is. So they know what, if you go and pick up Eliquis, they're going to know what the cost is, even though it doesn't matter which zip code you're in. It may just mean that there's a window, like that drug could cost you between $100 and $150, but at least give you the freaking information. But I'll tell you also this, they know what the drug will cost them, because they had to negotiate those prices, which is why they left Express Scripts and went to Prime. So they know what the cost is. They're just not publishing it. They have to know, because they need to know what their profit margin is. That's the purpose of the middleman. So please, if you're UFT, email Beth Norton and Michael Mulgrew and let them know your displeasure that you don't have this information and that they're not partnering with us to help fight this. And the decouple issue as well, because they said they haven't heard from anyone in the UFT about that either. So if you're frustrated that you and your spouse can't decouple, cannot have one person on the city plan and let your spouse go off the city drug plan and purchase the drug plan on the marketplace. I literally got a call today from a UFT person, retired, who is has a younger dependent on their plan, child, who's on Medicare. They're on Medicare. The dependent isn't, younger child dependent, that she wanted to get her Medicare Part D drug plan on the Medicare website. But if she does, the dependent child has to go off the plan with her and could not stay on the city drug plan. The child should be able to stay as an optional drug rider on the city plan. She should be able to go to the Medicare.gov plan. This is ridiculous. So I'm going to tell you, I know I have your back. You know this organization has your back. You know our board has your back. Now go tell your former union the problems that you're having, because I could surely use some help in this fight, since this largely affects UFT retirees and managerials. So if you guys could help me out that way, I would appreciate it, because Beth Norton's email literally said she hasn't heard from anybody. So she doesn't think it's an issue. Have our lawyers been in contact with OLR about, oh yeah, George, we've been emailing them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They've ignored us since they gave us the formulary. They don't want to answer any more questions. So our options now are back to court. What can I tell you? Thank you for being there every step of the way, Marion. Otherwise, what a mess in dropping my emblem optional plan. Just today, I emailed a very clear, succinct, reader-friendly follow-up request to receive an email confirmation that my application was correctly processed. Wow, were they still confused. And then they find out they had sent me the wrong cards and would correct it. They don't want to send anything in writing. So then you know what? Just start recording your phone calls with them because I don't trust them either. They just don't. Usually tier 1 and tier 2 have no deductible. Does the Medicare D plan have a deductible? So Devora, you're not giving me where. The Medicare drug plan on the marketplace, the deductible is $615 on the marketplace. 237 told us we cannot go out of their Part D drug plan. 237 is going with $660 a person deductible and $2,100 out of pocket. That's interesting. It's $660 with your union when the Medicare drug deductible is $615. So that means they're getting a little more cash out of your pocket, Lainey. Okay, let's see. New York City extending their deadline has no impact on CMS. No, it does not. OLR is not able to change the Medicare deadline. No. Let's see. Marie, I don't know what this means. I received nothing. I called. Oh, you mean from CWA? Then you must have received something about the plan in the mail. You had to have received something. They have to send you something about the plan going into 2026. They have to. Claudia, I like that you mentioned that we don't know might come up. I'm a very healthy 72-year-old on no medicines that just found out I have a minor heart ailment, have fallen recently. I'm just keeping what I have. That's fine. If we do decouple and get a different Medicare drug plan, would we still get the $900 reimbursement in February? From what we're told, Ellen, from what retirees have been telling us, yes, I would definitely email your union's welfare fund so you have that in writing from them. That may have even been in one of the emails that Mulgrew distributed. Yep, using silver scripts. That's what DC 37 has. Copays are adding up, I know. They told me they don't have time for me right now. They have to help the Medicare retiree first. I told her I'm on Medicare and have been since 2006. She has no record. Hey, Marie, why don't you message me on Facebook or in the email, retirees@nycretirees.org. Why don't you and I call CWA on Monday together? And I'd be so very happy to make that call with you. And I would even be happy to live call that. Make that call live. Like we could broadcast that while we're making it. One more thing I have to add, that the paper I got from Prime Therapeutics, the new plan told me that one of my drugs is being dropped. It is the eye drops she is on. Okay. So then that would mean that you are completely out of formulary on that drug plan. So that might be a reason why, depending on what that drug costs, that you might want to look for a drug on the marketplace. Remember, the unions agreed that to this drug plan, to the drug plan, moving the NYC EPPO plan, because it was going to drop like 2% of the drugs, which their formulary is our formulary. They knew that this was going to impact seniors, even though they said it wasn't. We're the ones that kept saying, if you're changing the city health plan, drug plan, you're changing our drug plan. They kept saying, UFT kept saying, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. This has no impact on Medicare retirees. Hello. Then they had to walk that back to, guess what? It's the same vendor. So unfortunately, yes, if they're dropping your drug, 180 is for the privilege of buying drugs. Yes, it is. Yes, up to 900 is contingent upon what you pay. You will have to fill out a form for non-participating carrier at the end of the year. The form is on the UFT website. Call the Wealth. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate you putting that up there. So if your drug plan does not cost you 180 bucks a month, I wouldn't guarantee on getting that full 900 back. You'd probably get it prorated or something back, but at least you'd still get a partial reimbursement back. I'm retired UFT, but under my husband's UFOA prescription drug plan, I'm very fortunate. Yes, you are, Susan. I listed the drugs and it took the list, but it would not include Eliquis, the most expensive drug. It left out 3 others. I just got a pacemaker November 5th and had complications causing 2 hospitalizations. So Tina, I'm thinking you're talking about on Medicare. So you would have had to, if you know it takes all your other drugs, what I want you to do is go back and you're talking about the CMS website. Go back on the CMS website and go back in and add Eliquis alone and see and when you go in and you put in all your drugs, make sure you look at the plans that it offers you, right? Then, and if it still doesn't, do it one more time. If it still doesn't accept Eliquis, then when you do, clear the screen and do it again. Only add Eliquis. See what drug plan it will offer you then. Then see if that plan that it offers you is the same as the others. There has to be some plan that would offer this medication to you. If this is a name brand and there's a generic, you might need to look up a generic or look if there's an option to check off another, like a generic or a substitution. You might need to check that off and see if it would include that. So try that again. In checking on my health benefit change application to drop both me and my dependents, city optional rider, emblem, drug plan, OLR rep read a clause to inform me that my dependent isn't eligible for the 365 rider that we also both requested. When he learned I retired from UFT, he did an about face. What? Laura, can you please write that to me in an email, please? Because that is not what OLR is saying to us and is not on their website. When we specifically asked OLR about all retirees, they said all retirees and their dependents can opt out of the drug plan and purchase one on the marketplace, decouple, and purchase 365 on the city plan. And it doesn't matter if you're UFT or not, it's for everyone. So if you would please send that to me in an email, I would like to run that up someone's flagpole. They only sent information to people who are already on the CWA plan. Okay, I'm willing to take up this fight, Marie. Why? Because CWA gave CWA retirees a choice to either purchase the plan from the city or purchase the plan from them. Now, if you chose not to take their plan, CWA's plan, because it didn't provide you the coverage you needed, you were allowed to purchase the drug plan from the city. Now, if they're making an exception and CWA's plan is truly a Medicare Part D creditable plan, then that means OLR is talking bullshit again and then allowing you to purchase or forcing you to purchase the drug plan on the city side and not go back to the union plan. So I definitely want to get involved in this now. So make sure we connect because I want to do this call with you on Monday. Good evening. Prime won't give prices for any meds. Yep, I know. They said they won't do it till January. I'm well aware. I called Columbia Presbyterian today, and every call had a recording. If you have United Healthcare, check with them to see if you're covered. Okay, let me explain what's going on with that one, Miriam. So United Healthcare, it was exposed in the court case that there's a bunch of city hospitals that will not potentially be covered under the United Healthcare contract because there is not a contract in place. So this now becomes a concern. Like they were talking about Northwell hospitals and a group of New York City hospitals. This is probably why you're seeing that message like you are, because what's happening is there's this contract expires December 31, which means going into 2026, if they do not come to an agreement and sign a contract for 26 going on, these hospitals will be out of network for United Healthcare. And that was literally exposed in that court case against the new plan. That's why you're hearing that. You still get the refund. Yes, Marion. Thank you, darling. Thank you, Marie. I look forward to making good trouble with you. Where can I access the city's formulary? So, Tina, go to our website, nycretirees.org. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Okay. I did this on the video the other day where I gave you guys the link to our website to go to latest developments. I'm putting the link in the chat right down below. Go to our website, click more or whatever the option is to see more. You want latest developments. And on that page, depending whether you're Medicare or pre-Medicare, there's the formulary there. So you could literally search this book for your drugs, your medications, to see if they're there. You might want to do like a Control F and do a word search if you're on a laptop. Find the drug in the book, or just call Prime, which now it's probably Friday. I don't know if this Friday night they're still open, but you can look through at least the book. The books are on our website. It'll tell you if you're Medicare, click here. If you're not Medicare, if you're pre-Medicare, there's two links. There's the base formulary and the full formulary, because they do offer separate separate drugs in the full plan. So there you go. Marianne, you are amazing as to all the information you have in your brain. Yeah, Gerald, it's like I feel like I'm in the Cliff Clavin of everything healthcare. It's like ridiculous. Oops. You're the best too, Deborah. So I don't really have anything else. What I do want to then do is I want to remind you guys that I am looking for people to do a video with me if you're having some financial trouble or these copays. What I want to know, if these copays that we have are causing you a problem. I don't care what the problem is. It's a financial problem. If it's some stress, whatever that stress is, I want to have a conversation about it. This is affecting especially our low-income retirees or people who have other financial responsibilities, that adding these copays up, whether and it would help if you don't have like 10 a year, but like if you have like 100 a year, like I'm looking for people that they're adding up simply just to take care of yourself, that they're adding up to the point that it is creating a hardship for you. I want to start doing these short little videos about this and highlighting what they're doing to you. So I just dropped that link down below. Please sign up if you'd be willing to do a video with me. Does the issue with what you said about United affecting active members? Yes, Marcel. So why is that? Well, the NYC PPO plan, the new plan that all active workers and pre-Medicare retirees would be going into, if you are in if you are attending, well, how do I say this? Remember when we talked about the new plan? In the new plan, you had like the downstate 13 counties, and the residents of those counties, the network was Emblem. But Emblem is using United's network. Now, if you live outside one of those 13 counties, United is your sole network. So if you are someone, let's say, that lives further upstate outside of those 13 counties, or maybe in New Jersey or Connecticut, but then you come to the city and you use one of those hospitals, That's why you're going to have an issue. If this plan does go in effect and the court doesn't stop it for whatever reason or pause it, United Healthcare is your network. So yes, if this plan goes through, and depending upon where you live, you could potentially have an issue if any of those hospitals come out of the network or don't renew their contract with United Healthcare. You see this all the time in the news. It'll say something like this big, like Lehigh Valley's come out of the network. Lehigh Valley is a huge hospital network in Pennsylvania? If they come out of the network, which they did, they didn't resolute, and I did not go back and check if they've done it recently, but there were letters and postings that they were not in network for United Healthcare in 2026. That means if you live in that area and that's your facility and your doctors are connected with that hospital center, you can't go there in network. And remember, this new plan, the unions negotiated that it would only pay what Medicare would have paid, even though you're not on Medicare. So whatever, let's say you go to the doctor and the doctor visits like $500, but what Medicare would have paid, the Medicare allowable rate would have been $300. Well, then, if the doctor's charging $500 and the Medicare rate is $300, you're on that hook for that other $200 every time you go there. So that's why it's important to know who's in network and who's not, because you don't have really out-of-network benefits here on this new plan. So that's why it's important to look. But yes, the short answer is, Marcel, if you are on GHI CBP and you were going into NYC EPPO, this does affect you, to know that United Healthcare potentially does not have a contract for those providers. Are telehealth visits covered by Medicare again? Janice, I don't know about that. You'd probably have to search that on the Medicare website. The last I heard that they ended it because the president had stopped some of that funding. Let's take a quick look if I can pull it up quickly. Whoops. Telehealth insurance covers coverage through January 30th of 2026. Let me pull that up. On the Medicare.gov website, always go official. Through January 2026, Medicare covers telehealth services that you can get anywhere in the United States, including your home. Starting January 31st, you must live in a rural area and go to an office or medical facility that's also in a rural area for most telehealth services. If you are not in a rural area, you can still get these Medicare telehealth services on or after January 31, but you must have end-stage renal disease, services for diagnosis for evaluation or treatment or symptoms of acute stroke, or services for the diagnosis, evaluation, or treatment of a mental health or behavioral health disorder in your home. So they are ending telehealth. Unfortunately, that's a shame because that really helped a lot of people who were homebound. So good question. This is a shit show. All information should have been in our hands at least 30 days before these deadlines. Elizabeth, I agree with you, which is why if you're UFT, I would like you to email UFT. And I also want you to email, let me go back up here and drop these in the chat again. I want to do, let's see, I want you to email the mayor, even though he's probably mentally checked out and doesn't give a shit about anybody anymore. And then that's the email the mayor. And then I want you to let's see. Then I want you to email Commissioner Campion. I want you to do both. I want you to inundate the fuck out of them because you can. Because you should have had this information a long time ago. So I'm giving you an email link for the mayor and an email link for the commissioner, and let them know your displeasure that they are not serving you, not serving retirees, not giving you the information that you need to make an informed decision, and use those words. You have not provided us adequate time for the formulary and the cost of our medications on the drug plan you're offering so that we could make an informed decision on healthcare for our families before the deadline. That's insane. Let's see. Elizabeth, your CWA. Well, George, we could sue them. We are looking at that. I don't know how successful we'll be like anything else, but we are looking at that. You should have had this information. FYI, my wife just had ankle surgery in Palm Beach, Florida. Her doctor takes our insurance. Orthopedic surgeon's name is Chadwick Hampton in Royal Palm Beach, Florida. That's great. Hope your wife feels better. Okay. Tied healthcare cards. I don't understand what that means, but if you're asking me, Mundez, if you are getting new healthcare cards, if you're pre-Medicare, the answer is yes. If you're on Medicare Senior Care, the answer is no. Your card is the same card. But if you are pre-Medicare and this NYC EPPO plan does go in effect, yes, you would get a new card. On the application to indicate no to disenroll for drugs. Michelle, I think you're missing a few sentences there. If you go to our YouTube channel, we did a video on how to complete the form. I think it was yesterday. Go back and look at our video channel on how to purchase a Part D drug plan on the marketplace and complete that form. I literally show you how to fill it out. And then, of course, email OLR, which was healthbenefits@olr.nyc.gov, to make sure they understand your form the way you want to, because their form is confusing as shit. So I'll put their email in there as well down here below. Health benefits at olr.nyc.gov. And you can email them. If you have any problem, just email the organization and we'll respond back to you there, okay? Okay, so we're pushing on an hour. I don't have anything else for you guys. I will acknowledge that it is Friday and I don't have any update for you other than what I've given you. Yes or no, different. Michelle, I still don't understand what you're asking me. Any updates on the other organization's case, presumably requesting a temporary restraining order? So since you're asking that, I will go back and check one more time before we log off whether or not a decision has come in, and there's not a decision in yet. So there is no update. If you go onto their website, onto that case site, which, hold on, I will give you, because if you're bored this weekend and you want something to read, you can go read the docket yourself. There is even a transcript of the oral arguments from Monday on there. You can go and read that. But I do believe the judge will be making a decision quite imminently in this case. If I were a betting woman, if I were a betting woman and you asked me after I read that transcript what I think he would do, I would bet that he's going to give a restraining order. Yeah. I'd be surprised if I was wrong, but time will tell. And it's not anything bad, because he's still leaving the door open that it can go through. So we'll see what happens, you know. You sound so much better than when I last listened to you. I guess the chicken soup helped. Matzo ball soup. You're welcome, Anthony. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, so I got nothing left. Go to our channel. Look at the information there. We show you how to fill out that form. We tell you how to find a drug plan on the marketplace, so at least that you can compare. Knowing that the city of New York is not giving you the ability to search your drug rate, your costs for 26. Use what you spent in 2025. And it's very easy to do that. Go to your pharmacy's website where you log into your account and you can see your financial summary of what you spent, okay, on the medications. If nothing really changes for 26, use that as a baseline. Now add what you paid in premium, especially for the city, is $150 a month a person. So if it's you and a spouse or a dependent, whatever, add that. Now you have your drug cost, you have your premium. Now go to the Medicare website and look that up there. And it actually gives it to you. It tells you the deductible was $615. It tells you the premium, and it tells you what the drugs will cost you with the premium for 2026. Use that as a guideline. And if it's really close and you're concerned, stay where you are. If you want to take a chance and try something different, then take a chance. Just know you're in that plan for the year, okay? And know that the city's drug plan is a very expansive drug formulary. It has drugs that Medicare doesn't have to cover. So in that, you have a little extra insurance assurance that if you did need a drug, it's most likely covered. That's really kind of how to look at that, okay? I wish Emblem was honest. I wish the unions, especially the UFT, would have partnered on this with us to fight. We did ask. I asked Beth and Michael Mulgrew this, and I asked them several times. Even as of today, they did not respond back. Other than last week, the other day when she replied back to my first email, when I had a reminder, I sent it to her. They basically said they didn't think this was a fight, and they heard no retirees having any issues that we raised with either the drug cost or the decoupling issue. So I ask that if you are UFT, you write them and let them know. And if you don't have their emails, hold on. mmulgrew@uft.org and Beth Norton is B Norton at uft.org. There you go. So if you're UFT, let them know, because they're not believing me that you guys have this concern. Thank you for putting up the formularies. You're welcome. Unfortunately, still, the Medicare 2026 is not there, but I gave you the 26 because for whatever reason, they didn't put it up on their website. And I don't know why. Thank you so much. You're a godsend. No, you guys are a godsend. I wouldn't be here without you. You should have ran for mayor next time. I will tell you something, Anthony. I received a message from a reporter the other day that 3 people in the city of New York voted for me as a write-in for mayor. I was like, holy shit. Very, very funny. What about those who are not UFT like me, 237? They are telling us we must stay with them. But that is actually a rule that was negotiated between the unions, that if you do have a union drug plan that is creditable, you must stay with the union drug plan. Now, if it is apparent, like we've exposed that your union used to not have a creditable plan, I believe William and Harry did the intel on this one and showed that it does look like it is creditable. CWA, I'm still on the fence out because I don't have anything from them. But if you do have a union drug plan, you have to stay with the union drug plan. Now, all that means is if you have a union with a drug plan, you cannot purchase the city plan. And it depends also, does your union give you something back? I don't know if they give you a benefit. But if you think that the union drug plan, so look at William, right? William's wife, the drug plan had a low cap on what it would provide. So he had to purchase a drug plan for his spouse. William chose to stay on the union drug plan, but his spouse went off of it. Lainey, since you are 237, reach out to William Shenton on our Facebook page. I'm sure he would help collaborate with you, because he and Harry went through this your plan together, and they're the ones that emailed me about it. Okay. He might be a better asset to you than I. You have my vote. Thank you. What time span does the lawsuit cover? I'm assuming you're talking about the copay case, January 1 of 2022 to January 12th of 2023. Well, we certainly wouldn't be here without you. You're just lucky I'm a pain in the ass. When are we getting new PPO cards? Scott, I don't know, because if the judge stops this plan, I know they wanted to mail those cards out imminently because the plan is supposed to take effect on January 1st. I'm sure they were supposed to have mailed those cards out like next week. This is why I think that there's going to be a decision in this case imminently, because a lot of things have to be done. And this judge knows that after having stopped like 2 different Medicare Advantage plans before. So if that decision doesn't come today or on the weekend, I'm going to expect it to come before Wednesday. It's got to. So soon. All right. I got nothing else. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Get out and do some stuff that's a little fun. Get off your computers. Any questions that you have about this form? Because yes, Sunday is the last day you can purchase a drug plan on the marketplace from the city of New York. Okay. Now, for those, again, retirees who want to move over to the NYC EPPO plan for their dependents that are younger, and you, like the Aetna people, Aetna Medicare Advantage people, you wanted to go on to the NYC EPPO, even though we don't know if this plan is going into effect because of this court case. It's important that you let the city know that you wanted to go on, which means you have to fill out the form to disenroll from your Medicare Advantage plan, and then fill out the form to join the NYC EPPO and senior care for the Medicare retiree. Okay. You have to do 2 forms, one to disenroll from the Medicare Advantage or /HMO. And the second form is the retiree change form to move over to senior care and bring your family over into the NYC EPPO. I'm sure if the court stops this plan, the status quo stays the same and that you would not be harmed. Other than you still, if you're in Florida, won't always have access to doctors just like you have today. But that's not to say that the plan eventually won't go into place. Just hang tight. I don't have a crystal ball and I can't tell you what's going to happen. But prepare yourself for that, especially knowing that the city, because we've argued all of these things that they did not do, extended the deadline for us to submit our form as a retiree to December 15th. So just get that in now, okay? Do you have to redo the tax return? The tax return? What is that? I don't know what that means. The tax return for what? Grassroots members, please engage and encourage others to contact OLR to express your concerns. Absolutely. My name is Ian. My union is CWA 1180. I have the city plan. I emailed the union. I can keep the city plan for $26 and I will get the backup $3,200. Labor relations will not force me to take the new so I'm not really sure what you're talking about. Ian, if you can email the organization, I see you're on YouTube, retirees at nycretirees.org. What do I need to answer your question? I need to know if you are pre-Medicare or if you are Medicare. I need to know if you have dependents. I'm going to assume you're Medicare, and I'm going to assume you're on the city drug plan because the union's drug plan wasn't sufficient for you. If that's accurate, then I will get back. So then you will get back up to $3,200 in premium from the city, from the union. But the point is that CWA 1180 allegedly created a better plan that is finally truly Medicare creditable, which you should be able to go back to their plan and not pay a premium. So that's the question. That's the question. Why would you stay on the city plan and pay premium out of your pension check to get that reimbursement later if CWA 1180 offers a creditable, truly creditable Medicare Part D drug plan? That's what you need to ask. Why are you paying? And if they're reimbursing you up to $3,200, then basically they're reimbursing you your premium. I need to know that they're reimbursing you for premium, because your premium goes to $180 a month. $180 a month times 12 months is $2,160. So are they reimbursing you the $2,160 for the premiums just for you? Do you have a spouse, or are they also reimbursing copays? I don't know what they're reimbursing you for. So those are all questions. Email me. I put my email down below in the chat. So answer those questions. Then maybe we can kind of answer that. Roberta means that she was itemizing her medical expenses, or perhaps not, for the copay period, and wants to know if she should revise her tax filings. The answer is it depends. Yeah. So in order to itemize your medical, it had to be a certain percentage of your income. And if you went over that, then you still, if you did this with an accountant, you can, or let's do it this way. It has to be a specific percentage for you to truly itemize your medical expenses, a percentage of your income. Maybe if you're doing your own taxes, like on a TurboTax, you might have entered that information in there, but unless it's a specific percentage of your income, it doesn't get deducted. So Ellen's actually correct. It does depend on whether actually how that information was used. And the date, so the Real Doc again is copay case is January 1st of 2022 to January 12th of 2023. I'll put that in the chat. Okay. See, that's great. You guys know what each others are talking about. Because I didn't know what she was saying. All right. 7:10. Have a great weekend, guys. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Stay warm and cozy. Get yourselves ready for holiday, whatever that holiday is, whatever you're celebrating, or just hang out with your person or your dog or whatever and stay warm. And I will see you next week. If you have questions, drop them in our email, retirees@nycretirees.org. You guys enjoy your weekend. Oh, hold on. Another question from Ian. The $3,200 for premium copays, like I have to wait for B. Yeah, see, that just totally sucks. So, Ian, what I want you to do is find out from CWA that while you're on the plan with the city right now, can't you come back? And what difference does the plan offer from them? Why are you stuck with the city, paying for the city, when you could be on the union plan? That's a good question. So I'm interested in CWA right now because it appears if the city is making a rule, if the union has a drug plan that's a creditable Part D, you're not allowed to purchase the city plan. But if the city is allowing you, Ian, who's a CWA retiree, to purchase the plan from the city, that's telling me potentially that the union plan is not a real Medicare plan. And Marie and I are going to call CWA on Monday. So stay tuned. All right. Love you guys. You guys enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next week. I'll see you on the air on Monday. Patricia Hills, art curator. I will be doing on my radio show on Monday at 5 on WBAI 99.5 FM. We will be talking to Patricia Hills. If you're not familiar with her book, she's another really wonderful author. Patricia will be on my channel on Monday at 5. I will post that so you guys have the link and you can listen to her. She's an amazing woman. Her accomplishments are pretty phenomenal. So I'll put that up today. Have a great weekend, everyone. Ciao.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things